and former Navy SEALs and former special operations guys are going and trying to save these kids all over the world. And so I prayed and prayed and prayed. 2 hours go by. 3 hours go by. 3.5 hours go by, and I finally write, and I said, what's happening? I'm going to read this to you, and I've taken out some of the confidential information, but Glenn, I can't believe what happened. After over 2 weeks going undercover into the depths of hell to find these kids and negotiate a deal with their slave masters to liberate them, here I am, back at the safe house, with not one of them saved. Here's what happened. We did everything right. My team performed unbelievably. The agents who worked side by side with us performed unbelievably. They were at my side as we went into the dark layers of child sex trafficking. We had set up a party, a sex party, for 6 p.m. We had 5 bad guys snared on our line, and they had brought the kids, 15 of them, within 100 yards of the party that we had rented for this house. It was full of liquor, food, and everything to make the bad guys believe we were legit. 5:36, we get a call. The prosecuting attorney, who never should have had the case, didn't bother to open up the file until yesterday, said she was uncomfortable with the case and didn't like working on Fridays because that meant she would have to work all weekend long. She actually said those words. We pled with her along with the agents, telling her that the kids were 100 yards from our house and the monsters were ready to deliver the kids, but she wouldn't budge. May God have mercy on her soul, or not, whatever he decides. We had several other prosecutors look at the case file. All said there were no problems whatsoever. Even the prosecutor who denied us found no problems with us. Just come back later, she said. I feel a little rushed. This is what we're up against. We could not get her boss on the phone fast enough to act on her. The agents came back to the house after fighting with her. With literal tears in their eyes, we hugged and we cried for the children. I felt like we just received news that children had died. 2 hours prior to this, I was looking into the eyes of one of these kids as her pimp described her to me and all the horrible sex acts that she would perform. I shook her hand. I smiled at her, hoping that the spirit would somehow whisper to her that we were actually going to save her. She's 13, the same age as my son, just a baby. I could only bear it because I knew in 2 hours she would be safe in my arms. She grasped onto her 13-year-old companion and held her close. They were both so scared. Hours later, she and her fellow victims, 15 kids, sat in a van 100 yards away from their salvation. From us, we could see them, but we could do nothing. Then they left, still slaves. All of us, tough agents, fell to the ground and cried. And I'm not going to read the rest. It gets worse from there.